Good morning all. So in today's session, let us analyze a continuous beam by using moment distribution method. Analyze the beam as shown in the figure by moment distribution method. Take EI as constant and draw SFD and BMD. So this is the problem for which it is a 3-spanned beam which span 12 meters. Span BC is subjected to a UDL of load 20 kilonewton per meter, and for span D it is this is the problem. We need to analyze this by using the moment distribution method. So for this we have to go stepwise. To start with, the calculation of the step 1 is the calculation of fixed end moments. It is also called as In this beam we have considered 2 fixed support at the ends and 2 hinged supports at B and C. For this, to calculate the fixed end moments, we have to go span wise. So for the first span AB, MF AB is equal to MF BA is equal to 0. Since there is no load, extra load acting on this span AB. Then for the next span MF BC. So for MF BC we need to calculate the fixed end moments by using the formula MF BC equal to minus WL square by 12, for which the UDL load acting is 20, length is 12 square by 12. That will give you minus 240 kilonewton meter. Next, the same thing MF CB, since the magnitude remains the same but in the opposite direction, it is plus 240 kilonewton meter. For span CD, so what is the fixed end moment formula for MF CD, which is equal to minus WL by 8. So load acting is 250, length 8 meters by 8, which will give you minus 250 kilonewton meter. MF DC equal to plus 250 kilonewton meter. So let us start with the next step, which is step 2, which is distribution table. So after calculating the fixed end moments, now it is time to calculate the distribution factors for each joint separately. So before taking that, we shall discuss a concept regarding this distribution factor. So we have to calculate the distribution factor here for the intermediate joints, since the distribution factors for the supports can be known directly. So we can directly know the distribution factor values for the end supports. For that, we have to consider each joint separately and know the distribution factor. So for this problem, I will let you know the distribution factors for the fixed joint and for the hinged joint. For any other problem, if you have to take the distribution factor values. So first, in the first case, let us consider the case if the joint is fixed. So if the joint is fixed or the support is fixed, I shall consider the beam AB now. Now for this beam of span AB, we have to calculate the distribution factor for this joint A. So distribution factor at joint A is given by stiffness of the member AB divided by the summation of the stiffness. So in this particular case, since we have the fixed support, here we have only one member AB. For taking the summation of all the stiffness, I consider Ka. That means I have to consider the stiffness of this joint also, plus the stiffness of the member AB as usual. So now there is no problem with KAB, because as we discussed, we know that for calculating the stiffness of the member, we have to consider the far end. So if the far end is fixed, then the stiffness of a particular member will be 4EI by L. Similarly, if the far end is hinged, we consider the stiffness as 3EI by L. But we have to now concentrate on this Ka. So what is the stiffness at this joint A? Since it is fixed, so before that we also know that stiffness is given by the moment required to produce unit deformation. Right. In case of fixed support or the fixed joint, we have infinite number of moments acting at that joint. Thereby, this stiffness at joint A is considered as infinity. Got it? Since the fixed end can take infinite moments in it, the stiffness at the joint A is considered as infinity. So if you substitute this in this, what will I get? So KAB, we don't need to concentrate on KAB now, since this is infinite, plus KAB is the value which we get in the given problem. Anything divided by infinite or infinity can be considered as 0. Therefore, now I can write as the distribution factor for the fixed joint is 0. Therefore, while solving the problem or while considering the distribution table, you can directly consider the distribution factor for fixed end as 0. Similarly, I consider the case when the joint is hinged. So consider the beam with a hinged support AB. Even here I need to calculate the distribution factor for this joint A. So we know that distribution factor for a particular joint is given by stiffness of the member divided by, since it is a joint, I have to consider even the stiffness of the joint Ka plus Kab. Okay. So here also there is no need to concentrate on Kab, as we know that since it depends on the far end. If the far end is hinged, we take it as 3I by L. If the far end is fixed, we take it as 4EI by L, and we can calculate easily. So what is this Ka for hinged support? Even here we know that Ka as moment required to produce unit deformation. So what is the moment acting at the hinged support? As we all know, the hinged support cannot take the moment. So I consider the moment here as 0. Okay. So since the moment considered here as 0, stiffness considered at A is also 0, then if I substitute this here, the value is Kab divided by 0 plus Kab. So now if you consider this, Kab by Kab is equal to 1. So now I can write this as distribution factor for the hinged support is 1. So now by using these two considerations, now we can calculate the distribution factors for the intermediate supports only. Since we know the distribution factor for fixed end is 0 and distribution factor of fixed end is 0, if we had the hinged support, then it was 1. Okay. This is about the concept behind taking the fixed end as distribution factor for fixed end as 0 and hinged end as 1. Now by using or considering this, we shall take up the distribution table. So for drawing the distribution table, what I do is, I first take down the terms which are required to draw the distribution table. That is the joint, member, relative or member stiffness, which is considered as K. Then the next one is total member stiffness which is given by sigma k, and finally the distribution factor which is given by df. Okay. This is the distribution table we are considering. So as I told you, we have to consider distribution table for each joint. We know the distribution factor for A and D as we have calculated. Distribution factor for A is 0 and distribution factor of D is 0. So now I can directly take the joint B. So for joint B, how many members are here? There are 2 members, BA and BC. Okay. So for BA, what is the relative stiffness? That is K. As we have discussed, for a member, so let us take an example of this BA. For a member BA, B is considered as the near end and A is considered as the far end. Right. So for in this span, to calculate the stiffness, we have to take the far end into consideration. So in this span, since the far end is fixed, we have to take the stiffness as 4EI by L as we have discussed in the previous session. That is the stiffness of a member if the far end is fixed is given by 4EI by L, which is equal to, since in this particular problem EI is constant, no need to consider that, we can directly take the length. What is the length acting for span L? It is 12 meters. Okay. Next, for span BC. So for this span BC, B is the near end, C is the far end. This far end is inch actually, but this is considered as a continuous support, right? The C end is considered as the continuous support. We consider the continuous support as also fixed. Since we are considering the continuous support as fixed, since the far end is fixed, we can take, or we have to take, the stiffness as 4EI by L. So what is the length L for BC? It is again 12 meters. So again for BC, C is continuous support, we consider as fixed. It is 4EI by L. Length is again 12 meters. Therefore, it is 4 divided by 12, which is equal to 0.33 and 0.33. So what is sigma K? It is the summation of all the stiffness at a particular joint. So for this joint B, we have two members, BA and BC. We know the stiffness of the member AB and BC, which is 0.33 and 0.33. We get it as 0.66. So what is the distribution factor for BA separately now? It is, actually the distribution factor is given by DF is equal to K divided by sigma K. K is 0.33, sigma K is 0.66. We get the value as 0.5. Similarly, for span BC also we get it as 0.5. Okay, this is for joint B. Next, it is joint C. We have CB and CD. For CB, again, since B is the continuous support, we consider it as fixed. It is 4EI by L. L is 12, we get it as 0.33. Then for CD, what is the far end here? CD, C is the near end, D is the far end. Since the far end is fixed, we can directly take it as 4EI by L, which is equal to 4 divided by, what is the distance here? For C and D it is 8. So I get it as 0.5. So here I have to separate this. Even here. So now 0.33, 0.5 will fetch you 0.83. So what is the distribution factor for CB here? 0.4 and here 0.5 divided by 0.83 will give you 0.6. So this is how you calculate the distribution factor for each joint separately for its different members. So next we shall take up the next step. Step 3, it is moment distribution table. Okay. So in this, to consider this step, we shall now draw the table first, which contains joint, so in this, how many joints are here? A, B, C and D. B, C and D. So, these are the joints. The next is the members acting in each joint. So, for joint A we have only one member which is given by AB. For the second joint B we have two members, BA and BC. Next, for joint C, two members, CB and CD. Next, for D we have only one member which is DC. Next, after this we need to write down the distribution factors calculated for each member. Distribution factors. So, what is the distribution factor value for AB? Since it is considered as 0, BA we calculated it as 0.5, BC is also 0.5, CB it is 0.6 and 0.4. So, after this we shall take up the next step which is fixed end moment. So, we shall take up the next step, fixed end moment. So, we have even calculated the fixed end moments for all the spans separately. So, what is the fixed end moments for span AB? It is 0, for BA is also 0. So, the fixed end moments for span BC, it is minus 240 plus 240, and for CD it is minus 250 and plus 250 kilonewton meter. These are the fixed end moments. It is now we have to go for the next step which is called the balancing step. So, what is this balancing step? So, at each joint we have the moments acting. So, at joint B the moment here is minus 240 and at joint C we have plus 240 and minus 250. When you sum it up we get minus 10. So, these are the unbalanced moment acting at each joint. So, now what we have to do is we have to balance these moments and get the moments for each spans by considering its distribution factors. So, we shall take up the joint wise separately. So, now to calculate or to balance the moment for joint B. So, for joint B we have the unbalanced moment as minus 240. For joint B the unbalanced moment is minus 240. In order to balance this or make it as 0, I take plus 240 so that the answer will be 0. So, this is the balanced moment which is to be equally distributed between BA and BC by considering its distribution factors. Now, for span BA, for span BA, what is the distribution factor? It is 0.5. So, for span BA, this balanced moment is to be multiplied by the distribution factor which is 0.5 will give you 120. So, this is the balanced moment for member BA which is plus 120. Similarly, for span BC it is same. The balanced moment for the joint remains the same which is plus 240, but this distribution factors may vary. For span BC the distribution factor is 0.5 again. So, this also remains the same, which is plus 120, right. Next, we shall take up joint C. So, for joint C, what all are the moments acting here? Plus 240 minus 250. So, we get the unbalanced moment as. So, plus 240 minus 250 will fetch you minus 10. So, this is the unbalanced moment acting. So, we have to make this balanced. So, to make this balance, what I do? I add plus 10. So, I get it as 0. So, this is the balanced moment. So, this for span CB plus 10 into 0.4. So, what is 0.4? 4 kilonewton meter. Similarly, for span CD, balanced moment remains the same, it is plus 10 multiplied by the distribution factor for CD is 0.6 will give you plus 6 kilonewton meter. So, these are the balanced moment we have to consider for our further procedure. So, this is equal to plus 4 and 6. Now, the joints are balanced with the moments. Now, we shall go for the next step, which is called the carry over moment, COM. So, this concept is also explained in a previous session. That means, whenever a moment is applied at a joint for a member, half of its moment is transferred to the far end if the far end is fixed. Since we are considering the span AB now, the moment applied. So, here we are considering the carryover moment for span BA. Since the balanced moment is at BA, BC, CB and CD, we have to consider this balanced moment and carry over our further procedure. So, this plus 20 is acting at joint C for a span AB. So, for a span BA. So, this 120 kilonewton of moment is applied. Therefore, half of the moment is transferred to the other end. The other end is A. So, half of its moment is 60. So, half of its moment is transferred to the other end, which is joint A, since this end is fixed. If this end is other than fixed, either it is roller or hinge, then the transferred moment will be 0. This is about the magnitude. So, what about the direction? If the applied moment is in the clockwise direction, then the induced or carried moment will also be in the positive direction, in the clockwise direction. If the applied moment is in the anti-clockwise direction, then the induced moment or the carried moment will also be in the anti-clockwise direction. Since here the applied moment clockwise direction, I consider this also as positive, which is plus. For the next span BC, for the next span BC, the applied moment is also 120. So, this 120, since the far end is continuous, we consider it as fixed. Since the far end is fixed, half of the moment is transferred to the other end C. So, half of 120 is, what is half of 120? It is 60. Okay. Now, what is the direction? Since it is plus, we consider this as plus. Then, for span CB. For span CB, the applied moment is 4 kilonewton plus, and it is transferred, half of this 4 is transferred to the other end B, since the end B is fixed. So, half of 4 is 2. Then for span CD, we have the far end as fixed, the applied moment is plus 6. So, the transferred moment will be plus 3. So after this we have to continue the procedure until we get the values in terms of 0.0. So let us continue. The next step is the balancing step. For joint B, the unbalanced moment is +2. To balance this, we have to consider -2. So that -2 multiplied by 0.5 will give you -1. Even here it is 0.5, it is -1. Then for CB and CD, it is the unbalanced moment is 60. We have to make it balanced by considering -60. So -60 into 0.4 will give you -24, and -60 into 0.6 will give you -36. Okay. Next, carry over moment. So the moment applied at BA is -1, right? Half of the moment. So half of the moment is transferred to the other end. Since the end is fixed, the direction is negative, therefore the carried over moment is also in the negative direction, or it is in the anti-clockwise direction. Next, for span BC, the applied moment is -1, half of -1, which is equal to 0.5. It is for span CB, applied moment is -24, half of -24, half of -24 is -12. Again here it is -36, the far end is fixed, half of 36 is transferred, half of 36 is 18, direction, that is the sign is negative, therefore the induced or carried moment is also in the anti-clockwise direction. Next is the balancing step again. For joint B, -12 is the unbalanced moment. To make it, to balance this, consider +12, +12 into 0.5 will give you 6, and again it is 0.5, I get it as 6. -0.5 is the unbalanced moment for joint C, plus 0.5 into 0.4, plus 0.5 into 0.4 will give you, it is 0.2. Here again plus 0.5 into 0.6 will give you 0.1, 0.3. So after this, carry over moment. So carry over moment. So this is, the applied moment is 6, half of this is 3, since the end is fixed, half of it is carried. Since it is positive, the considered or the carried moment is also positive, which is +3. Then come here, the applied moment is 0.2, half of it is 0.1, it is positive, therefore carried is also positive. Then 6, half of this is carried, which is 3, positive, therefore carried moment is also in the positive direction. But here also 0.3, half of 0.3 is 0.15, since it is the positive direction, the carried moment is also in the positive direction. So here 0.1, to balance this, minus 0.1 into 0.5 will give you minus 0.05, and here also minus 0.05. Then again +3 is the moment, unbalanced moment. In order to balance this, we have to consider -3. -3 into 0.4 will give you minus 1.2, and again 3 into 0.6 will give you minus 1.8. The carry over moment. At this, since half of 0.05 carried is, so half of 0.005 is minus 0.025, and here also minus 0.025, here minus 0.9, here also minus 0.6. So next is the balancing step. For joint B, we have 0.6, that is minus 0.6. This minus 0.6 multiplied by 0.5 will give you 0.3. Here also 0.3. Here minus 0.025 to balance this, plus 0.025 multiplied by 0.4 will give you 0.01, and here it is 0.015. So now, since the values are in terms of 0.0, we can stop the procedure here. So it is better if we stop the procedure at the balancing step. We can also stop it at the carryover moment, but the values we obtain will be more precise if we stop the procedure at the balancing step. So finally, we need to calculate the final end moments. So to calculate the final end moments, we have to consider the moments starting from the fixed end moments. So add all the moments starting from fixed end moments to get the final moment values. Final end moments. So for span AB, the final end moment is calculated and it is given by 6475. Then for span BA, it is 125.75. For span BC, it is minus 125.25. For span CB, 281.48. Here also 281.48, which is equal and opposite. Here it is positive, therefore here it will be negative. The final end moments for DC is 234.25 kilonewton meter. So now consider these moments here. So for joint A, the moment acting is 62.475. Since it is positive, we consider the clockwise moment, which is 62.475 kilonewton meter. For span BA, it is 125.25. Since it is positive, I again consider 125.25 kilonewton meter. For span BC, it is negative. Since it is equal and opposite, then CB, it is 281.48 kilonewton meter. It is acting in the clockwise direction. Again CD minus 281.48 in the anti-clockwise direction, and finally 234.25 kilonewton meter acting in the clockwise direction. So these all are the final end moments by using which we need to calculate the support reactions and calculate maximum bending moment at a point in each span. By using those, we can draw the shear force diagram and the bending moment diagram. Okay? To start with, the next step, that is step 4, that is to calculate the support reactions and maximum bending moment for each span. For various span separately, initially I shall take up the span AB. So for span AB, we have 12 meters load and the moment here is 62.47 kilonewton meter and 125.25 kilonewton meter. So by using this, we need to calculate the reaction at A, that is RAB, and the reaction at B, which is RBA. For this, we shall take up sum of all the moments at A is equal to 0. So sum of all the moments at A is equal to 0. So here, how many moments are here? First, initially we have 62.47, which is MAB in the clockwise direction. So I take it as positive. Then no extra loading on span AB. Then we can come directly to the moment MBA, which is also acting in the clockwise direction. So plus 125.25. Then RBA is acting in the anti-clockwise direction at a distance of 12 meter. So the reaction at BA is equal to 15.64 kilonewton. Since it is positive, I take it in the upwards direction. So for calculating RAB, we have the condition sigma Fi is equal to 0. That means reaction at A, B and reaction at BA is equal to 0, since no extra loading acting upon the span AB. So reaction at AB is equal to minus of 15.64 kilonewton, 64 kilonewton. This is acting downwards. Okay. Since no extra loading condition, there is no need to calculate the maximum moment at any point in the beam. Next, we shall take up the next span BC. The loads acting here is B, C and it is the load acting here is 20 kilonewton per meter. The moment RBA is 125.25 kilonewton meter and point C it is 181.48 kilonewton meter, acting at a span 12 meters. Now for this span, again we need to calculate RBC and RCB. For this, I consider sum of all the moments acting at B equal to 0. For this, the moment RBC, it is acting in the anti-clockwise direction. So minus 125.25. Okay. This 20 into 12 into half of the distance is acting in the clockwise direction. So I take it as positive, which is equal to 20 into the distance is 12 and 12 by 2. Then again this moment, it is plus 28.48 acting in the clockwise direction minus of RCB into the perpendicular distance is 12, which is equal to 0. Now in this case, the reaction at CB is equal to 13.02. It is positive, I consider. The next is sigma Fi equal to 0, that is RBC plus RCB is equal to 20 into the perpendicular distance is 12. Now the value of RBC is given by 106.98 kilonewton. It is also in kilonewton. Since it is positive, I consider the upward direction. Okay, this is for span BC. Now for this span, I need to calculate the maximum bending moment. We don't know at which point the moment is maximum. For this, we have to consider the condition, as we know that at the point where shear force is 0, the bending moment will be maximum. In order to calculate the point where shear force is 0, we have to draw the shear force diagram. Consider the span. Now, we know that reaction at BC, RBC is equal to 106.98 kilonewton. From B to C, you have UDL acting at a distance of 12 meters. So, since it is UDL, the variation is linear, and so 106.98, it is acting upwards, minus 20 into 12 will give you 133.28, 133.08. It is 133.08 kilonewton. Okay. So, it is 133.02 kilonewton. Then RCB is again 132.02. So, minus 133.02 plus 133.02, we get 0. Positive shear force and this is negative shear force. So, this is the point where the shear force is 0. I consider this as point, okay, point E. So, this is at the point E, the bending moment is maximum. So, what is the distance? So, I consider this as x. So, to calculate that, we have to consider the similar triangles. So, by considering similar triangles. So, this is the load acting here is 106.98 divided by 6, which is equal to 133.02 divided by, so this distance will be 12 minus x. Okay. On simplification, we get 5.349 meters. This is at this point of 5.349 meters, the bending moment is maximum. Now, calculate the maximum bending moment at E. It is equal to, for this I consider the left hand side. So, 106.98 into the x is equal to 5.349, this RBC into 5.349 minus 125.25. Okay. Then since this is minus because it is acting in the anti-clockwise direction. Then again you have one more load, it is UDL, that is also acting in the anti-clockwise direction. It is given by 20 into 6, it is 12 by 2, 20 into 5.349, okay, into 5.349 divided by 2. So this moment now is equal to 160.92 kilonewton meter. Okay, this is the maximum bending moment at point E at a distance of 5.349 meters. Now we shall take up the next span CD. Now considering span CD, we have hinged at C, fixed at D, okay. We have so in this problem, since the load is exactly acting at the center of the span, no need to consider the shear force diagram to calculate the point of maximum bending moment. We obviously know that shear force is 0 at this point F where the point load is acting. So we can directly calculate the maximum bending moment at this point F. Before that, we have to consider sum of all the moments at C0 in order to calculate this reaction at CD and reaction at DC. So for this, we have sum of all the moments at C equal to 0. So we have to even consider this moments acting, it is 281.58 kilonewton meter and 234.25 kilonewton meter. Now at point C or joint C, this 281.48, that is moment at CD is acting in the anti-clockwise direction, therefore it is negative, plus 250 into the distance is 4 meters. Then again this moment of 234.25 is acting in the clockwise direction minus RDC is acting in the anti-clockwise direction at a distance of 8 meters, that is equal to 0. So here we get to know the value for RDC is equal to 119.1 kilonewton. It is positive, I consider it in the upward direction. Okay. Next, we shall consider sum of all the forces, upward forces to 0. Here what are all the upward forces? RCD plus RDC minus 250 or is equal to 250. So what is RCD here? Upon substitution, the value of RCD is equal to 130.9 kilonewton. Since it is positive, I consider the upward direction. So now by using this, we need to calculate the maximum bending moment. So maximum bending moment at F. So the maximum bending moment at F is equal to, so I will consider the left side of the portion wherein we have RCD. What is the, we know that we can directly take the value. RCD is 130.9, it is acting in the clockwise direction, multiplied by the perpendicular distance, it is 4 meter. Okay. Then this moment is acting in the anti-clockwise direction. I take it as minus 281.48 kilonewton meter. So thereby the maximum moment at F is given by 242.1 kilonewton meter. So this is the maximum moment at F. So now we have calculated the support reactions, that is RAB, RBA, RBC and RCD, and again we have also calculated the maximum moment at point E and F. So by using all this, now we can draw the shear force and the bending moment diagram. Okay, now to draw this SFD and BMD. To start with, the reaction at A, that is RAB, we have calculated. Since the reaction at AB is negative, it is minus 15.62, I take this in the negative direction, it is minus 15.64. Then from joint A to B, there is no extra load acting and the variation is constant. Take it like this. At point B, we have the reaction RBA as minus 16.64, therefore it becomes 0. Next, the reaction at BC, it is RBC, which is equal to 106.98. 106.98 kilonewton, and this is also in kilonewton. Between B and C, we have a UDL which is acting at a distance of 12. So 20 into 12 will give you the value of 133.02. This is okay, 133.02. From B, that is RCD. So RCB is also 133.02, which is minus and plus 133.02, it becomes 0. And again at point C, it is RCD, it is 130.9. From C to D, we have one more load acting, which is 250. So it is acting here. This is also 1.9 kilonewton. So 130.9 minus 250, since it is acting downwards, the SFD here is 119.1. So reaction at DC, RDC is equal to 119.1, thereby it becomes 0. It's minus, plus, minus, plus, minus. Okay. SFD, that is shear force diagram. Now we need to calculate the or draw the bending moment diagram. So at joint A, the moment MAB is acting in the clockwise direction. So according to our sign convention, the moment acting in the left side and in the clockwise direction is considered as positive. Therefore, it is in the upward direction, which gives you plus 62.47 plus 62.47 kilonewton meter. Okay. Then at joint B or point B, the moment acting is 125 and it is in the clockwise direction. So according to our sign convention, the moment acting in the right side in the clockwise direction is considered as negative. Therefore, it is minus 125.47 25. Since it is minus, I have taken it below the neutral axis. Next, in between A and B, since there is no load acting, we can directly join this 62.47 and 125.25. So, for span BC, the moment acting is in the anticlockwise direction in the left side, thereby we consider this as negative, which is already marked. Then for joint B, it is RCB, for span RCB, the load acting is in the clockwise direction, right hand side 181.48. So, the moment acting in the clockwise direction for clockwise direction, the right hand side is also negative, thereby we take it as minus 181.48. So, in between B and C, we have calculated the maximum bending moment at joint E. At joint E. So, what is the maximum bending moment at joint E? It is 160.92. Since it is UDL, the variation is parabolic. So, it is 168.92 kilonewton meter. Since it is parabolic, I join this. Then RCB, it is clockwise 181.4, it is already done. Then for RCD, it is anti-clockwise, left side anti-clockwise is also negative, which is already done. Then for joint D, the moment acting is 234.25 kilonewton meter. Then in between C and D, the maximum bending moment is at this point. So, at this point the maximum bending moment is, so at point F the maximum bending moment is 241.2 kilonewton meter. So, if you join this, since it is point load, the variation is linear. This is the positive bending moment, this is the negative bending moment. This is SFD and this is bending moment diagram. So, here it completes the complete 3-spanned beam, of which we calculated final moments, from which the SFD and BMD is done. Thank you.